I've said this time and time again, and I'll probably say it 100 more times, and make at least 100 more videos about it. Halloween 6 Michael Myers is scary as hell. Part of what makes H6 Myers so frightening, besides the film's terrifying, goblin-ish mask design and George Wilbur's imposing presence, is the fact that the shape legitimately feels like an otherworldly force of nature that you cannot and will not ever be able to truly get away from. I feel like you could hide from and outsmart Michael Myers in the first few films, but in Halloween 6, I think Myers would find you no matter what. That scene where he's power walking down those corridors, chasing after the main characters, helps illustrate this point. That is some anxiety-riddling stuff right there. It reminds me of those nightmares that I think everybody has at one point or another, where you're trying to go somewhere, whether it be walking or running, whether it's to get away from something or simply to go somewhere else, but you just can't seem to get any traction. I feel like that's how it would be trying to get away from Halloween 6 Myers. It would just be so incredibly and abruptly frightening that your body would just hit this extreme level of fight or flight, where your legs just wouldn't move you anywhere, and you would either have to do something to fight this thing, or you would just die, violently, painfully, and horribly. He doesn't even seem like a fucking human being anymore by the time H6 rolls around. It's more like he's, and I've said this before, this human-sized insect that is simply hiding behind a mask in human clothing. Do you remember that freaky-ass movie called Mimic? That's what Michael Myers in Halloween 6 reminds me of to an extent. One of those fucking things. I mean, obviously we know he's still human, and still has to eat and sleep and use the restroom and all that stuff. But I'll be damned if this version of Myers doesn't seem like the most boogeyman version of the character out of the entire franchise. Horrifying. Absolutely horrifying. If 1978 Myers busted into my house and we had to go toe-to-toe with each other, I'm confident I could probably whip some fucking ass and probably be okay enough to at least get away from him. Probably even with Part 2 Myers. But once we start getting into Halloween 4 territory, that's when the inescapable Myers really starts taking hold as far as I'm concerned. However, when you put Parts 4 and 5 Myers up against 6, I still think 6 is scarier and more inescapable than those two put together by a long shot. Even though Wilbur played Myers in Part 4, there's something just unnervingly inhuman and incomprehensibly frightening about Michael Myers as seen in Halloween 6. That motherfucker is the boogeyman.